Hi guys and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Swift Quattro FB. This is the Kudos 830. These are some basic handover videos showing how to set up and operate the van if you were getting on or off side. Starting off first, we have your black hitch head here, which you have to have up, as well as your black lever to be able to wind down the jockey wheel onto the tow ball, snap down that handle, push up that red button and expose a green ring. You then have your handbrake here, which you just disengage by pressing down and engage by coming up. It does come up with a fair bit of force, so make sure that you just flick it up with a couple of fingers. There is 13 pin electric, so if you do have 7 pin, make sure to bring yourself an adapter, and then you have your jockey wheel there. I'm using my test equipment today, so I have a red propane gas bottle. I'd always recommend propane over butane because it does have a better performance over winter, and it has an in-date gas hose. So these black gas hoses run for 5 years, and as you can see, production date 2024. That connects on to this regulator just here, and tighten that as much as you can, and then just nip it up using a spanner. Once both sides are firmly connected, twist the gas bottle in the positive or open direction. 2 points either side and 2 points at the back, you have inserts for your legs. The caravan itself will come with a leg winder, or you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up the caravan using your legs, they're simply used for stabilisation. Coming around to the opposing side, starting off first, we have your inlet here for your water pump. Water pump connects in nice and easy, you just have to press it in, and to remove it, press in on the trigger and then pull out. It does take a little bit of force to do. I'll do it with my other hand. There we go. It's on the trigger system, so you have to press in the trigger to remove it. You have this blue cap to go over the top of the acrow to ensure that no nastiness gets in, and then at the bottom we have your strainer. It's crucial that the strainer has to sit at the bottom of the barrel to allow the maximum potential of water to come through. My recommendation is to get some PVC tubing or something like that to put around the bottom to make sure it's nice and straight. And as you see, all you have to do is just push in, you'll hear it click, and it's now engaged on. Moving along, we have your flue. Your flue is used to get clean air in and out of the boiler. Don't have to do anything with this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. And just here we have your battery locker with your plug-in for your mains. Battery would sit here. You'll either need 12 or 13mm spanner to be able to connect the terminals. Also have a little bit of a cutout here to be able to shut off the battery locker. Oops. Then just underneath we have where both your wastewater from your shower and your sinks will come from. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe to then feed into a waste master that you can empty out at the appropriate point on site. And lastly, we have your toilet function. So just below here we have your cassette. To remove it, press up on the handle and pull out just like so. You can also extend that handle out and up so it can be used similar to a carry-on suitcase. Once you're at the appropriate point on site, twist that off, and what you want to do is tilt. At the same time as tilting, continually press the vent button. Now my recommendation is to add some water into that point there, give it a bit of a shake, and again you want to tilt and vent. Then on this cap just here you have measurements in both imperial and metric, and that is for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes onto that point, twist it in, twist the head to the side, push in the cassette so the orange handle sits behind those white teeth. Then just above you have your flush tank. The flush tank itself can hold around 12 litres of water. However, I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10 as you don't want to overfill the compartment. You can also add a little bit of pink chemical which works as a bleach without being corrosive and makes it smell a bit nicer. Now you don't want to travel with either of these two full, so just up here got a little bung to drain off any remaining water inside the flush tank. The caravan itself will be fully drained off before you leave with it. Then underneath your right hand side seat you have both your flow jets just here, which is what will draw through the water. you have this yellow switch valve, which is essentially your drain valve. That will be left in the vertical position when you do come to collect it, which is the drain position. Any other time that you want to use it, you have it in the horizontal position. However, November to March, have that up permanently unless you're actively using the caravan, and anytime you come off site, make sure you give it a drain off. This silver box on the side is your battery charger. Then on the top, we have both your fuses and your trips. All your trips in the upright position, all your fuses in the correct position. Now, I would always recommend carrying some extra fuses. And then you have both your charger and heating and hot water button illuminated, meaning they're both working. And then you have a reverse polarity button if you ever go abroad. And then underneath this seat just here, that is where your actual boiler lies. Just here we have your main control panel. So when it turns on, everything will sort of flash on, and you can see that mains is coming into the caravan. If I was plugged into my car with this, it would show the car being lit up. I can view the amount of levels either coming from the car itself or from the caravan by pressing in, and right now you can see 14 volts. Now that is respective of the actual mains lead itself. When you only have the battery on, that will give you the leisure battery voltage. Anywhere between 12 and 13 is stable. You can also view it by pressing this button here as well. First up, you have internal lights. So I press in this button on the side. You can see lights come on, and then you just use the respective light switches. Pressing this button, that's for the awning light. Go outside, and you can see that's on just there. And then you have your pump button. So I press that in, the water gets gradually drawn through, and then it will begin to sit inside the boiler. Now, my recommendation is to wait about 2 to 3 minutes and then open up your tap on both hot and cold. So whilst we wait 2 to 3 minutes, I will show you the trimmer. So trimmer, you have the dial just here, which is also a button, and then a back button. Naturally, it will go to the screen when it's not being interacted with, just so it doesn't disturb you whilst you sleep. First up, you have the caravan with the thermometer. This is for the internal temperature you desire. Using the dial, you can go up and down. It goes to a maximum of 30, and when I select, you will see that the little flame comes up above, showing that the heating is now on. Next to it, you have the water heat, which is either eco, which will get the water to 40 degrees, hot, which will get it to 60 degrees, or boost, which will prioritize the heating of the water for 15 minutes and then drop it back down to eco. Next to it, we have your energy source. So you can either use gas, a mixture of gas and 1 kilowatt, mixture of gas and 2 kilowatt, strictly electric with 1 kilowatt, or strictly electric with 2 kilowatts. So you've got the choice of either gas mains or a mixture of both. Then we have your fan speed. So jotted across the caravan, you have a series of vents which will essentially push through hot air. So the fan speed is either eco or high or boost. Eco is a nice steady boost. High is a bit more vigorous. Boost will just press it through for about 15 minutes and then drop it off. And you can see that the fan gets gradually more dark the more high you go. However, if I had no heating on at all, like so, and I went over to the fan setting, it's either off or vent. Now what vent does, it circulates the air across the caravan and allows you to have the windows open and push that through if it was a nice sunny day. Then you have a timer, so this allows you to start and stop when you would like the heating and hot water to come on. So you just input the start time and then the stop time. Then you have the actual time, so it's currently not midnight. When the panel has been reset, essentially it will go to midnight. Then you have the spanner icon, and this is your additional settings. So you have offset, temperature, brightness, 12 or 24-hour clock, language, index, or reset. I'm not going to go through that panel as we have set it to what we believe is the most user-friendly to use. However, if you'd like to know what they represent, please have a look inside your book pack. Then, as mentioned, that screen will naturally turn itself off. But if you don't want the heating on in the slightest, press and hold on this middle button, it will turn itself off. Then just going back to your tap, open up on both cold and hot, and what you're looking for is a nice steady continuous stream. Now, because it's not been on in a while, it might be a case that it's not pressurized. So essentially you just come over and you have to check a few things. You have to check that the drain valve's in the correct position and that your strainer is set at the bottom of the barrel. As you can see here, nice pressurized system now that I've ran it through. You just want to let it run for around about 30 seconds and get this nice steady continuous stream. If there are any cluster splutters, just do double check, make sure that the pump's in firmly, strainer's at the bottom of the barrel, switch is in the correct position, and then you can also check on hot as well, and you can see a nice steady continuous stream. Now do make sure to check on every tap that you're wanting to use, and my recommendation is to let it run for around about 30 seconds. Then just here we have your hob grill and oven. So all of this operates off gas, so all you have to do, press in the dial, twist it to the side and press the igniter. Now it may be a case when you first initially boot everything up, it will ignite the flame and then it will cut off. That's just the gas making its way through its system. So just relight it. This is what it looks like when they're all lit. As you can see here, all your burners nice and lit. Turn the tuff back to the central position. It's the same concept for the grill, so press in, twist to the side. Now it may be a case sometimes the first side will light up and then you just have to relight it for the second side. And then lastly your oven, so press in, twist to the side, and there you go. Only other real thing to note, you can travel with the gas hose on, but make sure the bottle itself is off, and you need to travel with this glass sheet down, but don't put it down until all of these are cold to the touch. And just here we have your toilet, which is bog simple. Press in your button here and you can hear that motor. That motor is what will push around any water inside the system. To remove your waste, press away on the handle, opens up the catch, pull it back towards you to be able to remove the cassette. When the cassette is full, red light on there telling you to empty it. Then we have your Dometic fridge. So turn it on, press and hold on this button. It will flash up and then go to its most recent memory, which you can see is on the 13 pin. So we've got to change that over. So what these represent: 13 pin electric, gas, mains and auto. Auto will automatically choose what the fridge thinks is the best source to use. Now I'm currently set on gas, so you may hear it gradually tick in and then ignite. You don't have to do anything, the fridge automatically does it. Now press it again on mode. Mode takes me to mains. Now I'm using 240 volt. Press it again to auto and it chooses mains as the best source to use. It will naturally always choose mains if it's plugged into it rather than gas, and it just saves you using your gas. As you just saw when it all got booted up, essentially it will beep and flash at you if there is a hazard. Then you have the amount of power coming into the fridge, 5 being the most powerful, so it's going to chill it the quickest. You then have child locks either side, and when the fridge is on, the lights come on just there. To turn off the fridge, press and hold in. Turns off, no more lights, it's all off now, and it will take around 4 hours for the fridge to fully chill.